Now the ultimate power in the universe.
Sharing the love, spreading the light in real time. Friday night love stream.
Very happy to have a guy we instantly resonated with. Unbiased and on the fence. I'm talking about Shane C. Robinson. And his purpose is to rise above the worldviews that are designed to separate us so we can unite as one.
Sometimes you have to sort of take a step back, and I think Unbiased and on the Fence is a really, really good title for your show, because you are in the central point when you're unbiased and on the fence. That's what it means. It doesn't mean you're indecisive. It means you are taking the central point and you're seeing the multiple perspectives.
Unbiased and on the fence.
If you haven't checked Unbiased on the Fence, go and check his channel out. You might like it.
This is Dan Hofel from Talk is Cheap, and you're listening to Unbiased and on the Fence with Shane Robinson.
If this much sincerity enters your life, come to this much. What I know, I know. What I do not know, I do not know. I don't believe anything, I don't disbelieve anything. I'm willing to look at everything. You will become a sensible human being.
Have you checked out our website?
Visit us on the web at uotf.net. You're listening to The Love Stream.
All around the world in real time.
This is Shane with Unbiased and On the Fence. You're listening to the Friday Night Love Stream.
Your calls, your stories. On air, you're listening to the Love Stream.
Sharing the love and spreading the light all around the world. This is Unbiased and On the Fence.
Unbiased and on the fence.
All right, we are back live this week. How's everybody doing? So happy to be here. And I had other plans, but the phone lines are going to be open tonight. So evidently the universe is holding space for someone out there. Or it could be something else. Who knows? That's just sort of the easiest, quickest thing I thought of. And if anybody's sort of on the fence about calling in, maybe that'd be just the little bit of encouragement you need to feel comfortable calling in. So how is everyone doing? Does anybody want to call in this evening? I've got a couple of awesome BQH sessions to share. One with April and one with Nancy, and I was actually getting April's ready for tonight, and it just didn't quite get done quick enough. So I'm going to upload it as a separate video. I will probably do the same with Nancy's as well, and then you guys can just call in. I'll have them call in maybe next Friday if they'd like to do a follow-up discussion, because both are definitely worth discussing. Very cool stuff. Keep in mind, if you are feeling led to become a BQH practitioner, make sure you use the promo code in the description and save yourself an additional 10%. It's already really reasonable, but why not take 10% more off? And if you are interested in a BQH session, you can email me, contact me through the website, uotf.net. All right, so let me check the phone lines. No one calling in yet. Let's see. Frank and Kali. Yeah, let me talk about that. Great, Frank. Thanks for reminding me. So I am speaking at the Mandela Effect the West Coast Mandela Effect Conference in Idaho, November 8th through 10th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, with Cynthia Sue Larson. I am super excited. Of course, Dark Wolf's Den is helping organize this, and there will be some other great speakers there. So I'm excited. It'll be my first public speaking engagement. We'll have our book ready. I see Eileen's there. We are so close to launching that. I'm really excited about that. That really turned out well. Super proud of it. So I will have more information coming so that I can help promote this event coming up in Idaho, because I don't know. I like the Mandela effect, and I think just being able to do a presentation on it and share my experience and sort of the conclusions I've come to. And I'm so glad to, be on a panel with Cynthia Sue Larson. She's known about this for a while, so we've had her on. Eileen and I have had her on a couple of times, and the Power of 8 at 8. Really knows her stuff. Super, super wonderful person. And we just totally jive when we have her on. It's always a wonderful discussion. So let's see. What else in the news? Let's see. We've got tomorrow night. I don't know if I want. We've got a really interesting show tomorrow night with Eileen and I do, and I'm going to have Carrie on, and Jolie will be joining him, and we will be discussing some of their experiences in Eugene, Oregon. I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was in November of last year, Truth Stream Media put out a video about this town that had this low hum or some kind of frequency. Turns out it's where Carrie lives, so we're going to hear all about that. He didn't know about it until after he started having experiences with living in the area, so he's going to come on with Jody and discuss what they've been experiencing there. So excited about that. And then we're going to combine our power of intention and like blast that place with light and any other sort of low vibrational antennas around the globe. So he came to the right place. I'm so glad he contacted me, and you guys are going to really enjoy not only their experiences, but what we're going to turn around and as a group do to change this area of the world and others like it. So stay tuned for that. All right, phone lines are open, you guys. I'm going to put up all of the lines. So if you're calling from anywhere in the world, the numbers are on the screen. They're also in the box below the video. You can scroll down and get your country's number. The show ID is going to be the same. If you're calling within the United States, it's 605-562-0444. And the show ID is 147-7973. All right, so I guess I'll put on some WingMakers material right now and see if anybody is wanting to call in. Like I said, it seemed like it was synchronistically lined up for someone to call in, so if you think that's you, give me a call. Oh man, you gotta love that WingMakers material. Eileen is on the line. What is up, Eileen? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. I'm trying to make sure your volume's coming through. I think you're coming through.
Am I coming through? I can go check like on a phone to pull up the chat.
Now I see the little bar moving now. So how are things going in your neck of the woods down there? Is it getting crazy?
Yeah, we are supposedly bracing for Hurricane Dorian. You know, it's got one of those mean names, like, you know, what is that book and movie called The Picture of Dorian Gray that's been Mandela affected, that used to be The Portrait of Dorian Gray, something like that. I might have reversed it.
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't know that. It's wild.
Yeah, we are out of water and we're out of gasoline, but the really funny thing is we're kind of like a health food family, so every time there's a hurricane, I let my daughter go and buy any snacks she wants from Walmart. So she came home tonight, she's like, I can't wait for the hurricane. You know, all that junk food on the counter, you know, just in case. I don't know. Maybe it's in our blood to have hurricane parties. But everybody's like really chill. Everybody's like, nah, we don't think this one's going to be as bad as Irma. Irma 2 years ago was not good, but it wasn't nearly as bad as they said it was going to be for us, you know, in the south side of Florida. I think the islands got hit pretty hard by Irma.
Aren't you? You're on the good side, though, aren't you? I mean, aren't you on the side that it's not pulling the water in because it's sort of north of you?
Yeah, like I'm on the Gulf side, but you know that got hit by Irma, and now the way they're showing this chart and graph and map, it looks like the whole flipping state's getting hit by Dorian, doesn't it?
Yeah, they make it look like it's hitting up further north and then going down, like it's going to turn and go south and just get the whole panhandle, or, you know, the whole bottom of the state, I guess. But I don't know, that's just one model, I guess.
The whole state in red. So I don't know if climate change, you know, with everything that's going on with the planets are changing as well. All the planets are getting brighter and hotter and more luminous. So I don't know if climate change is like increasing the size of hurricanes and possibly the frequency, because the last time that the Gulf side got hit by a hurricane directly was 1960, a year before I was born, and then 2017. That's a long time, and now they're saying that our side, the west side, might get hit again, you know, 2 years later. So we'll see. Kind of beating the odds. But the reason I called, I'm not going to take up your whole show because I'm going to be on with you tomorrow night. And that sounds so exciting, what you were talking about tomorrow night's show. That is super cool. That's going to be tomorrow night, right? Not during the week that these guys are coming on?
Right, no, tomorrow night, yeah.
Awesome. The only reason I'm popping on now is Wisdom was saying, did Shane see your video? And I said, probably not yet. I just did a little video today because Lynn McTaggart, who inspired our Power of 8, she put out on Thursday a global meditation to put out the fires in the Amazon. And nobody got it like early. You know, we all spread it around as soon as we got it. But there's a whole bunch of us in the kind of love light working community who are pushing the rain from Hurricane Dorian, over the Amazons to put out the fire. We're like, hey, you know, if we do this as a group, we can just kind of not necessarily shift the hurricane that way, because that would be even worse to get those high winds, right? But just to kind of shift the rain, the heavy, heavy waters. There's like 140 miles of heavy rain clouds heading towards us that are going to spread out to like 240 miles, they say, the whole hurricane's going to be, which is pretty big. And if we can, as a group, move that moisture and move that rain and dump it over the fires in the Amazon to put those fires out, that would be awesome, brilliant. Just, you know, there's no better use of our power of intention than to shift the rain away where it's going to do damage, right? 15 inches a day over the East Coast, you know, that'll cause flooding. And instead shift that water over the Amazon where it's needed to put out the fires.
That's awesome. Yeah. Just extinguish them. So I did see a post from you, but it seemed like it was yesterday, and I got it an hour after it was supposed to start because I was going to repost it. I'm like, oh my goodness, this happened already an hour ago.
Everybody did. I know. I think I posted it 5 minutes before the meditation started.
I thought I got it pretty fast too. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's already over. It had been an hour. So I was an hour late because whatever the time was, it was the time here, but I'm not Eastern, I'm Central. So I was like, wait a minute, that's already passed.
Yeah, I totally didn't give anybody any time to prepare for that, nor did I have time to prepare for it. But this thing that we're doing, I just put up a new video a couple of hours ago, and it's no expiration, no timeline. Just do it whenever you feel like it. Like, do it a couple times a day, do it before you go to bed. You know, just shift the water on the earth where it's needed.
Yeah,
because
I like
the Earth
that.
is a pretty small place, isn't it? I mean, in terms of the universe, we're tiny, and we're powerful, so we should be able to move that water where it's needed.
I totally agree. And we don't want to cause any mudslides or anything, right?
Oh, like in California, remember?
Yeah.
When we went to the California fires,
oops.
put them out.
Oops, we put them out, but we caused mudslides, so we want to be careful. We don't want anybody harmed. We don't want to make anything worse.
No, definitely not. But, well, whatever we do tomorrow night, too, if that's a powerful, like, grid that's open there, whatever we intend should be magnified.
That's what I'm thinking.
So,
yeah, and we'll talk about that tomorrow night. Because they feel like there's a...
take over the whole weather pattern worldwide.
Yeah.
Where we're kind of moving the weather where it needs to be, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that'll be not only a great discussion, but, you know, a great intention to... So is there a time on this Amazon thing, though, that you're...
Nope.
Is there a certain...
Nope.
Okay, so we're just putting our power of intention together.
Yeah, there's about a dozen people who live in my small area by the Everglades on the Gulf side who are doing it regularly. And then there's quite a few people in different states who are doing it now. So it's like whenever you feel like it, whenever you think of it, just some people are blowing that water that way. Some are moving it with their hands. Some are moving it with their minds. Remember, like you and I talked about cloud busting?
Yeah.
So we're kind of doing that in our own unique ways to move the moisture over the Amazon where it's needed, to douse the fire, get it away from the east coast of Florida and Georgia, where it's headed.
Yeah. Get the rain onto the fire, put it out. Problem solved, right?
Yeah, and maybe we can all become like love light working weather people, and we can direct the weather on the planet if there's enough of us.
Oh, I totally believe it. Yeah, after seeing ESETI and seeing that protection we had on us, the rain got through, but the lightning was just going all around us. It was amazing to watch.
Yeah, and somebody pointed out that that weird, you know, the disappearing body parts in the vortex right after the thunderstorm might have happened because of the electricity from that huge electrical storm.
Yeah.
May have like energized all the plasma.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because I know the magnetics are kind of wonky in that area anyway, so that ties directly into the electromagnetics of the area.
And I've showed some people just the photographs of what we presented last Saturday night, and they're just absolutely gobsmacked. Their mouths are just open, and they have nothing to say because they're like, wow, you guys really did have disappearing body parts. And you can tell that it's not CGI'd. And to be able to share that with people who are on the verge of believing in a magical world and a mystical world and a miraculous world is really cool because it kind of pushes them over the edge into believing that all things are possible, you know?
Yeah, like the Mandela effect. It sort of pushes you back into the right brain, you know?
Yeah, that pushes you too into the miraculous, the magical. And an update on that book that I gave you a copy of, that's on CIA.gov. It's been FOIA released, but only 56 pages. The rest is redacted. the Adam and Eve story.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big channels did a video on it, I think, like in the last 2 days. And I'm sending you the link on that because he's already got 1 million views on it. And basically it shows that the Sahara Desert was once lush and green and full of civilization, you know, like...
Oh, Bright Insight. I saw that video. Yeah, it just came out, I think, yesterday. It's a pretty new video.
I was like, whoa, that's on the book that you and I have been talking about now for quite some time and hoping that it's going to get some airplay, that people are going to pick up on it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's strange that... So we've got the redacted pages, or some of them?
We got it all. But
we
then
got
it was Mandela right in front of me, remember? It was like double-sided, and it came out of the printer single-sided, so who knows what the heck we got.
Well, I definitely got it here, and I'm anxious to tear into it, that's for sure.
Me too. I haven't read it yet, so if we both read it, let's do a show on it on a Saturday night. We'll dedicate a Power of Eight show to it. But it's going to be interesting to see what we've got because I got a hold of that book and took it to a well-known photocopy place, had some guy put it in the photocopier, and it went in double-sided and came out single-sided, both the copy and the original.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. In fact, it didn't even print the first time, right?
It didn't print the first time. The first time it came out hot white pages.
Right.
Each page had gone through the copier and came out pure white.
And the workers thought you guys were, and the other, I guess, customers thought you guys might be getting punked or on candid camera or something.
Yeah. Well, first they tried to explain to me what double-sided means. And I'm like, oh, thanks a lot for that explanation, you know. And then they thought we were getting punked, you know, because the poor worker there saw double-sided pages. He put it in the machine and he hit print double-sided. And when both the original and the new one came out just like pure white, but the original came out single-sided, and he put it back in, but he didn't check the double sides the second time. He checked it after the second printing, and one side was removed on the original. It just disappeared.
And then you asked him, you remember this being double-sided, right? And he remembered.
He's like, yeah. And that's when the customers went, you two do understand what double-sided means, right? It means printing on both sides. Oh, this is such a strange world and time that we're in, but it is fun. At least it's interesting, right?
Yeah. Now, see, I have to wonder if we had it on tape, like say they just, I don't know, pull the security footage up there, would it look like it was always one-sided? I mean, like, Mandela effects happen, and the photos change to look like they've always been that way. So I wonder what it would look like for you both to be standing there talking about it being double-sided, but you're holding single-sided paper now.
That's kind of like being in that vortex of body parts appearing and disappearing. It's like, do they really disappear? We thought maybe just the people in the vortex saw them disappear and people outside wouldn't. But when we got the photographic evidence a week later from John Binney's video, we're like, oh, the camera saw it too. Because I wasn't sure the camera would see it,
Yeah. Excellent.
I don't know.
And the movements not everything caught on camera. Like the movements looked pretty normal on camera, although to you guys they looked real choppy and, when
shoulders tracing. And then, of course, on the camera, our faces didn't disappear 100% like they did in person. But that only happened when there was no flash on anyway. So it's kind of interesting what's real and what's not real in terms of perception. Like, if we see it in some version, that's reality, right? But if something else is seeing it, they might be seeing it differently because they're not seeing it through your eyes. I don't know.
Exactly. I think we would have needed to... I was going to say, I think we need to leave the camera set up with the shutter open and just stand still and see if we can see through your face. That's what we should have done. That way we get it without the flash. But you have to stand still, that's the only trick.
We can go back and we can do that. We can, if we had the equipment, we could set up all kinds of photographs over that mountain. Like we should have had like a 24-hour deer cam going on Mount Adams while we were there, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, that'd be awesome to catch well, who was it? Shiny saw 9 of them, I think, a whole group of Bigfoot. Man, that would be trippy to get that on footage.
I just found out sharing these stories. I shared all these Betty stories with my family, and a lot of my family lives up in the Colorado mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And I just found out one of my family members, like a couple of decades ago, up in the Glenwood Springs area, went outside and with a friend saw like a dozen Yetis. They were all standing around them. They were in a cabin. And then my nephew said to the other guy, like, they weren't drunk or high or anything. They might have been earlier, I don't know. But when they went outside, like at dawn, before dawn, they weren't. And they just went out for fresh air, and he was like, do you see what I see? And the other guy was like, uh-huh. And then in a blink of an eye, they were all gone. They just, like, vanished into another dimension.
It's wild. So here you are thinking they're probably going to think you're bonkers, and they had their own story.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The more I talk to people about the magical, the more magical stories they tell me. And I'm like, ooh, everybody's having these magical experiences. That's awesome. We just don't talk about it because in the past it wasn't acceptable. If you talked about it, you were considered kind of weird or a nutter,
Yeah. But I think a lot of this stuff's being more and more accepted. It's just not so fringe anymore.
Yeah, and if you think back to like ancient times and all the myths, even the Bible with the 3 magi and the root of their word comes from magic, the world might have been a very acceptable, magical place thousands of years ago, and we might have somehow grown out of it into a scientific, materialistic type of philosophy. And now we're maybe going back into what we used to see the world as, when people talked about fairies and elves and little people and all that stuff.
Yeah. That's amazing, isn't it? And that sort of stuff's starting to come through with sessions more, too. Fairies and little elves and things like that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to say on the video that I just did today, some of us are actually asking the angelic realm and the elementals to move the moisture from the coast of America in Dorian over to the Amazon. So they're actually utilizing different dimensions of energy to do the work. And we're kind of thinking like maybe it's like ask and you'll receive, but half the time we just don't ask. We just don't ask for help.
Yeah. That's true. That's definitely true. So I'm wondering what that would look like on radar, to see it sort of phase out over here and reappear over there and put out the fires. And wow.
Well, I don't imagine that like we would see the whole hurricane, which is huge, and it's moving counterclockwise as they normally do. I can't imagine we'll see the whole hurricane move to South America. That would be bizarre, and that would freak everybody out. I would love that. If that happened, that would be super cool, unless, of course, the winds upset people.
Well, I was sort of imagining it disappearing over by Florida and reappearing, just sort of simultaneously disappearing and then reappearing. You know how clouds will just form out of seemingly nothing when you're watching the radar?
Yeah, we're on Fastmo. I'm on the show. I'm talking to Shay. My daughter's like, who are you speaking to? I'm speaking to a lot of people, actually.
Just 44 of us.
Okay, 44 people. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping. Yeah, clouds do that, don't they? 1 minute, like on Fastmo, you'll see a clear blue sky, and then you'll see the clouds just deal together out of nothing, out of air.
Yeah.
So I hope we can just send the moisture down, just rain without the winds, without sending the cyclical, the turning winds down there. We don't want to do that.
No, we just want to extinguish the fires.
But if we always say for the best possible outcome for all concerned, then you don't have to even worry about it. And it's like it's handled,
Right, exactly. Then we don't have to try to micromanage it. That's what we do too much, I think, is try to control it more than we really even need to worry about.
That's what I'm learning. I'm learning in the power of intention not to micromanage, to allow. It's called the allowance, and not resist. to ask for the outcome that you desire, but then let the universe bring it to you in the way that the universe wants to bring it to you, instead of telling the universe step by step how to do it.
Yeah, totally. And I think
That's a
that's
hard
sort of,
lesson, though.
yeah,
Really
because it's a
controlling,
fine,
aren't we?
it's
We're like,
it's a fine line between being specific and learning to let it go and not micromanage it the whole way. So I think the being specific thing can maybe make people feel like they have to micromanage it, but it's really not like that.
yeah, and then Lynn McTaggart with the Power of 8, she always says be specific so that you get a specific outcome. You know, if you're general, you'll get a general outcome. But then be specific, but not, what's the word? Yeah, it's the micromanaging. It's like kind of controlling. Like, isn't that part of our problems with relationships is we really want to control the people that we love so that they act the way we want them to act and say what we want them to say, you know, instead of just loving them and allowing them to do them while you do you, you know, and not controlling, you know. Yeah, that's a big
But if they'd
lesson
only
for me.
listen to us, their life would be so much better. I'm just playing.
Said like a parent. Just said like a good dad. Well, I think having teenagers cures you of that. You know, so the whole teenager thing just totally like knocked my socks off. I was like, oh my God, this is so hard being a parent of a teenager.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. They know it all. You don't even need to Google
and they
anymore.
will not do what you say. They'll do the opposite of what you say. So then you think, should I just tell them the opposite so they do what I want them to do?
Leave your room dirty.
Yeah, don't clean your room. How dare you? Make that room messy. Oh, my God. Well, I'm really excited about you going up to Idaho to do the Mandela Effect conference.
Oh, I'm
there.
super excited. I'm like, wow.
Cool.
It's a lot like doing a video live, but, you know, like building it, getting it ready. So I'll have to make some kind of PowerPoint presentation, but it'll be fun. It'll be like doing a video live, really, for me anyway.
Oh, yeah, and you're going to have Cynthia there and more. I'm sure more are going to turn up, but right now you guys, you know, she wants to do her stuff and you do your stuff, and then you can sit down and do a panel.
Yeah,
you know, and talk together.
Yeah, the guy that came out, that the business owner with that software company that came out explaining to his clients why they might.
Oh, is he coming?
He's going to be there sharing his experience, so excited.
How fun.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it's really brave for a business owner to come forward and say, hey, this Mandela Effect thing is real, guys, you know. So that was good, you know, that he was brave enough to do that. It's going to be interesting because I think he's a newbie, and I think he's still looking at CERN, where we all started out, where we're all going, oh, my God, CERN is changing the world and opening up dimensions and portals that certain people say demons are going to come out of, you know. But then when you realize how innocuous the Mandela Effect is, you're like, I'm
Actually,
not sure that this is
I was surprised when I read his talk because it sounded pretty enlightened, actually, like maybe he's already been on a spiritual journey. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious. It's hard to get an idea with just like a little paragraph or whatever, but it didn't sound like what I expected. It sounded more spiritual and more of like his testimony or his experience with the Mandela Effect, how he came to realize it. I can't remember the exact. They might not have used spirituality, but it sounded more enlightened than what I expected. But of course he's seeing it, so he's got to be, his eyes have to be open to a certain extent, right?
Yeah, and you know, whose reason for it is better than another's. You know, I might wind up down the road thinking that it's totally a cosmic event, like it's happening to the whole solar system, and find out at the end of the day that CERN flipped the lever and CERN did it all, you know. So, you know, it's impossible to know what's causing the Mandela Effect, which is great because that's part of its mystery, you know.
It's the fun of it.
More interesting. Yeah, it makes it deeper as well, like exploring the nature of God. You know, we can all have our own idea of who and what God is. But I have been studying now Kabbalah, and that is a really fascinating and kind of interesting look at God And the one thing that I found most interesting, and I'm by far not an expert on it, I'm just starting to get into it and read it and kind of figure out what it's all about, this Jewish mysticism, very ancient, very old. And they think that that the infinity created God.
Mm-hmm.
So God wasn't creating humanity and the world. The infinite, infinity, the void, is the most powerful of all, and the void, infinity, created God. Very interesting concept on God. I do like the fact that it sees a little bit of the feminine elements of God are allowed to be there. It hasn't totally been stripped of the feminine, like a lot of Abrahamic or male or Middle Eastern religions have completely removed the feminine from the power of creation, right? So it's still got some feminine aspects in there. But interesting, in Genesis 1, Adam was not with Eve. Adam was with the woman who became Lilith. Do you remember the Mesopotamian, the Sumerian Lilith?
Yeah. She was before Eve.
And she left. Yeah, she left Adam and became a demon goddess, responsible for all kinds of mayhem and chaos. And then he was lucky and he met Eve, and Eve stuck with him. But she did get him to eat the apple. So, I don't know how lucky that was.
She was a little more covert in her tactics, I guess.
Yeah, but Adam's ex-wife, holy moly, she's a demon goddess.
Oh, let's see here. I just found the information. Just so you guys know, I pasted the link to its MandelaEffectConference.com. I did paste the link in the description box, or I'm sorry, the chat box.
Cool.
So look to the right if you're watching this right now, and I will go ahead and spam it in there a couple more times.
Oh, yeah, you guys have to sign up fast because Dark Wolf's Den, right? He's organizing it. And he said there's 50 spots, right? Is that right? 50?
Oh, is that it? 50 total?
Yeah, I think that's what he said on the last video.
I don't know. He just put a video out today. Was it? Yeah, he did say space was filling up, but I didn't know if he said any numbers. That guy, excuse me, I guess it's Chris Anatra is his name. Is that right? Oh,
Don't know.
typo
Is it the
there.
guy from the businessman who did the Mandela?
Yeah, I believe it is. That's one he said. It says description, the Mandela effect, and how it is a key component to humanity's awakening to the reality of our existence. This will also include my story of awakening and our path forward. So it's a 45-minute talk with another 20 minutes for Q&A. So that's pretty interesting. So yeah, it sounds like
what your focus is going to be on, because you've covered all aspects of the Mandela effect now. What are you going to focus on with your keynote talk, your 45 minutes?
I will focus on sort of my journey through it, what I discovered, what I think, and so much of it's subjective, but just sort of putting it out there, because so much of it switched when I considered maybe it was positive. I mean, I didn't even think it was positive for sure. I just considered it might be, and all of this stuff opened up for me. So I know Cynthia looks at things more positively, and I'm glad it's really a positive. It sounds like it's going to be a really positive talk about,
because the whole conference sounds like it's going to be like you said, soul building, like reassuring, but not fakely, not doing it in a fake way. But
right.
I started out thinking, this can't be positive. This is like a sign of something not working right here. And then I went from negative to neutral, because some of the Mandela effects are downright silly. They're pointless. And so now I'm neutral, and then I went from neutral into positive. So, that was interesting. I took that journey too. I wonder if most people who wake up to the Mandela effect are first thinking it's negative, and then they go neutral, and then from neutral to positive.
Isn't it strange that that's sort of how the abduction scenario plays out too?
Oh, for sure.
How everybody...
Because I've seen them since I was little, I'm like, oh, the Greys are so cute, and everybody's like, what? But eventually they come around. Eventually when you realize nobody's seriously getting hurt, if you are an experiencer, then you are okay, because you're back here to talk about it, right? And they always go, what about those poor people who were tortured by them? And I'm like, you mean in the movies? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, that's more of that fear-mongering. If you actually talk to people who have the experiences, even when they're scared because it's new, They don't know what's happening. They feel out of control. Eventually, they realize that they were well treated and returned unharmed. So then it becomes neutral. And then I guess I imagine there are other people like me who think that it's a positive experience. I don't think I'm completely alone in that. What about Sherry Wild? Did she think it was positive, or was she neutral?
She went from negative to positive. Yeah, because it's forgotten promise. So she realized, I guess, at some point that she'd agreed to do all of this, but she was just in the dark for most of her life, I guess, about what was happening. But she originally agreed. That's why they named it. She named it Forgotten Promise.
I think Dolores Cannon's 4 books on it are very positive. I don't think they mean to be positive, like that they're trying to spin it that way. But if you listen to all the QHHTs that she did on it, they all sounded very positive, like they had a purpose. There was a reason behind it,
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear April 2nd. Is this her second BQH?
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing.
And Nancy's first?
And it was Nancy's first, yep.
Wow. I can't wait to hear them. Are you going to play them, like, next Friday, like one at a time, the next few Fridays?
I think I'm going to upload them by themselves. I mean, they're really good, and then we can still have them on to discuss it next Friday if they want to call in, because they're, and it's really a cool range, too, because you've got April, who didn't really remember any of the session, and you have Nancy, who remembered the whole entire session, was hyper aware like I got, and then a few other people were like that. I think T. Taylor was like that, but she still was able to make the connection, so it was wonderful.
Oh, cool.
I think some people get hung up on not feeling hypnotized or something, because you were like that. You were ultra, to me, you were like there. I mean, I was talking to Eileen the whole time, but you had access to all of this stuff, so you didn't feel hypnotized, did you?
I felt in a complete relaxed state. So I was in a meditative state, but I didn't feel hypnotized like somnambulous sleepwalking. Like I didn't wake up and go, oh, what did I say?
Right.
What was that all about?
And you've had that before.
Yeah, but I did this on purpose because I think I told you before we did my BQH that I did not want to access my subconscious, which is full of everything. And I only wanted to access my higher conscious. I didn't want to channel, Right. I wanted to keep it like straight from my higher self. And I think we accomplished that. I felt very surprised by some of the information coming through. So then I knew I was not in my subconscious mind, because my subconscious is full of everything I've ever seen or heard my whole life. And my higher consciousness still has new information for me, right?
Yeah.
That I might not have come across in this lifetime. So the fact that I was surprised so often made me feel like we had the right access, that we were at the right level.
It's almost like what you wished for, they took it a step further, because you were able not only to access those higher levels, but to access them as yourself, and that's pretty cool.
I've never done that before in a meditative state. I've had visions where if I'm meditating, I start to see things, and I go, oh, that's interesting. What am I seeing? It usually starts with colors and geometric shapes, and then I might kind of see something. And with you guiding it, it would get way past that, right into a time and a place and an experience. And when I'm not with you and I'm meditating, I don't see it as quickly or as easily. I can't access that automatically, but I'm sure I could with practice, right?
Right. Yeah, I felt the same way, too.
The guidance is really helpful. Yeah, the guidance is key.
Yeah, and it's too difficult. I've thought about trying to make my own tape and stuff, and it's just too difficult. You need that interaction,
Yeah, definitely. And especially if you trust the person guiding you through the different levels, and you're in a slightly, so I couldn't have been in like delta, because that's like a sleep mode. I could have been in theta, or I could have been hyper aware, like you said during it. I could have gone up to gamma, where your brainwaves are going quite fast and you're like hyper aware.
Exactly.
But I can't wait to hear April. Did she go back to where she was and continue on from there, or did she access entirely new information?
It was a lot more. It was a lot less cryptic, I would say. A lot less, because it got pretty convoluted with all the symbols last time. I mean, it was really interesting, but it was really hard to follow. And like she said, she thinks it's a lot more practical information. She actually just a little, because I know Bruce was like just a little preview. She actually got these 4 scrolls and was reading from them. Awesome information off these scrolls. I was trying to get it going tonight, guys. I'm so sorry. I'll have it out tomorrow for sure in the daytime.
Did she hit the Cosmic record? Did she go tap into that kind, or did she go back to a past life and pick up the scrolls from an experience that she had in the past?
Yeah, she actually went to a different life. I'm not even sure it was the past or just alternate or what, but it was sort of an elf-like people or fairy-like people. I think they were, I don't know, they were just shrunk down, smaller people, and they were doing a ritual. She was like a medicine woman, and they were doing this ceremony, and she went down through the fire, her spirit did, and went into the earth, and that's where she found the scrolls. So it was really neat. Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder if we're seeing past lives, alternate lives, or even future lives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we remove the time element and it's no longer linear, it's almost impossible to know which direction you're traveling in.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, I don't know. That's why I just...
Like some of the places that you brought me to, I'm not entirely sure they were on Earth. I think they could have been.
Mm-hmm.
They sounded like they could have been on Earth, but not necessarily. They could have been anywhere.
Yeah, you just can't be sure. I guess maybe if you knew the stars a little bit better, because the one you were studying the stars, and I guess if you had studied them, you know, here on Earth in this lifetime, and you recognized they were turned a different way, you might have been able to figure out where you were, you know.
That would have been helpful. That would have been helpful, but I don't know. I know a few of our constellations. I took astronomy at junior college, and I know a few of the constellations. I can look up in the night sky and see like 3 or 4. I think I've remembered.
Mm-hmm. Dustin, the one saying that.
System, it wouldn't look like that anymore. They would look entirely different. But if you were here in an ancient civilization, they might have drawn different things up there with the very same stars.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Right?
Yeah. So you just never know what direction you're looking at it from, and it would be difficult in 3D space to figure it out with points of light like that. You'd have to be really good.
Yeah, but somebody did a video on that, and they said that maybe you guys listening have seen that video. It might be on Netflix. They said they were taken up in a spaceship. It was a typical abduction experience, and that they had been abducted several times, they realized, and that they were shown an entirely new star system. And they came back down and they drew the points of light, and then like somebody who knows stars put it into a computer, and they found out which planetary system he'd been taken to based on the points of light, because they were looking at the same points of light we are, but from a different angle.
Oh, yeah.
So he kind of figured out where he was taken.
But he needed a computer to do it?
Yeah, the computer did it.
Wow.
The computer put the dots in, they drew them in the way that he saw them, and then they just like zoomed around in the galaxy and said, oh, yeah, if you were in this point of the galaxy, that's exactly the position those stars would be in.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, that was super cool.
So what do you remember what planet it was that he was seeing it from?
No, I wish I did.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to think if that was the guy who was in the Rendlesham Forest one, who touched the side of the UFO and then came back and wrote down all the ones and zeros. He came back. It might have been in the same documentary with him in it. And then 40 years later, it was showing him that all those ones and zeros that he wrote down following, he was in the military, American base, I think, in England, 70s or 80s. I think it was Rendlesham. I think that's what it's called. And they put the ones and the zeros. He did not do programming, but he wrote down all the ones and zeros after he touched the side of this UFO that had landed in the forest on an airbase. It also made him very sick, but he didn't die, like from radiation poisoning. And then they ran him through a computer like a long time later, and there was like a message in there, the ones and zeros. And I don't remember the exact message, but, it was something about us eventually getting out there into space,
Yeah. Let me see if I can find that message on the Rendlesham.
Rendlesham Air Force Base. And the guy, a couple of servicemen, were sent out to see what the light was. There was a light that landed in the forest in England, and two, Army captains were sent out. And the UFO just stayed parked there in the woods, and they walked up to it and touched it. And when he touched it, he got a message of ones and zeros.
Right, I remember that.
Language. What's that language called?
Binary.
Yeah, binary. You got binary language. And I'm sure this is on Netflix. If you guys watch Netflix, that's just, it's just, I'm going through all the UFO documentaries.
I'm looking here. Let's see, binary code. Okay, here it is. Along with the help of Linda Moulton Howe and other experts, he discovered that the ones and zeros were actually binary code, and when translated contained the following message. Exploration of humanity. This is weird. 6668100. They should have thought that one out before they sent it on. Don't read it.
Nelson Mandela's prison number had a 666 and an 8 in it. I wonder if that's Nelson Mandela's prison number. We'll have to look that up after.
Yeah, 666-8100. Okay, continuous for planetary at Van. Fourth coordinate, continuate. Oh, I guess they didn't. Okay, and then a bunch of numbers. Eyes of your eyes. Origin and a long number. Origin year 8100. Huh. That's worse than a.
Does that mean anything to anybody?
That's worse than an Nostradamus quatrain, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. It's about the same. You can interpret that any way you like, but look up Nelson Mandela's prison number and see if that's got that 6668 number.
It's Nelson Mandela's prison number?
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Prison number. Okay. 46664. Wait, is that?
Oh, okay.
46664, yeah.
Okay, it doesn't match it. Never mind. I thought it was that would be incredible if it did. That would be a huge message to us, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Did you get to pick your phone number that's showing on the screen with the 0444?
No, that's actually the talk shoe number, so that's why Dan has the same number. We just have different show IDs.
Oh, okay, because I just think that's super cool. Because that looks like an angel number. I always notice that's super cool.
That's exactly why I went with talk shoe. I'm like, this is the one. Here's the 4s.
This is the one. This is it.
This is it.
Well, anybody putting their hands up? Anybody want to talk? Because I've got a whole show with you tomorrow night. I just wanted to get on and say, you guys just send that rain from Dorian over to the Amazon and let the rain put out the fires over there.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, we do have another caller from 901. Where is that? Tennessee, maybe? All right. Well, thank you, Eileen. I'm excited to talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah. Awesome. I can't wait.
All right. Be safe.
Yep. Okay. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. See you guys later. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All righty.
Let's go.
You're listening to The Love Stream.
Unbiased and on the fence.
All right. Going to go back to the phone lines. 901 area code. Who am I talking to?
This is Heather.
Hi, Heather. How's it going?
I've been enjoying a nice evening, trying not to feed the mosquitoes.
I hear you there. Where are you calling from?
My phone number is Tennessee, but I live in Virginia Beach now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was a Tennessee number, but it's hard to keep up with them these days, you know.
I know, like, you keep your cell phone number, and it's like, where the heck are you from?
I know. I kept my 770 for a long time, which is Atlanta, and lived in Tulsa and St. Louis with it. It was just hard to get rid of it because so many clients had it, you know.
I just keep it so I can remember my phone number.
Just makes it easy, huh? You don't have to give it out to everybody. Well, that's cool. How long have you actually been watching the channel?
I've been subscribed for several months, but I don't really listen to a lot of your shows. I guess because my interest in the Mandela effect and other things is just kind of like gone in and out. I'm just kind of at that point in my spiritual development where I'm like, I'm subscribed to all these channels, but like I feel like I've like looked at a little bit at every topic at this point. Just kind of like letting it simmer.
That's a good way to go.
So
I mean, yeah, that's a good way to go. That way you don't get too sucked into it, because most of them, you're going to hit a brick wall or it's going to be a bottomless pit with no conclusion. That's what makes it so interesting, you know, because it stays a mystery and it keeps you digging, trying to, well, maybe I'll discover something no one else discovered or something, but I can see it as a distraction, you know.
It is. I think for me it was like I would hit a brick wall. I would get to the point where I just like had a general understanding of everything. It's like, okay, new topic.
Yeah, a lot of times you just say, well, okay, so we were lied at and we don't know what really happened, you know. That's the conclusion.
Like, there's just so many things I've looked into. I was like, I could talk about experiences that I've had or things that I've learned that maybe people haven't like read up on, and I'm just like, I don't even know where to begin anymore.
Well, did you have any type of spiritual teachings or anything that seemed to help you a bunch? Like, I don't know, the Law of One or the Celestine Prophecies or anything that helped you along your journey?
The most interesting one that really got me going was trying to do astral projection.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that, like, so I started following this guide. It was like do astral projection in 60 days by Robert Bruce. It was actually quite helpful. There was like a lot of techniques in there. It went into a lot of detail. I'm like, wow. This wasn't anything that Robert Monroe's done to shame.
So, did you see the episode when we had Robert Bruce on?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was like a month ago, I guess. Might have been 2 months ago. It was a Monday. Sherry and I had him on Paranormal Frequencies. It's in the title, though. You can search it if you want to check it out. But yeah, it was a great guest to have on. Seems to really know a lot of stuff about that.
I haven't like really seen any interviews that he's been a part of, but like when I found his material and just like the detail he went into, I was like, this guy's onto something.
Yeah.
So and I wanted to try it myself.
Yeah. And so what was your experiences like? Did you have anything to talk about?
Well, I've had a lot of experiences. Mostly like dream related, but you know, like, the things I've learned, I hesitate to talk about sometimes. It's very hard to get myself out there. I'm kind of to the point where like I know I need to start making more videos on my YouTube channel, but I'm just like dragging my feet because I've been through just so much shit just this summer.
All right.
Like, I am like the stuff that I'm going through emotionally is like, you know, it's crazy. I could go down so many tangents. I just could try to stay on subject here. I know, right? Anyway. So after about 2 weeks of just like writing daily affirmations and practicing being aware of like energy moving through your body and things like that, I had an experience. It was simple. was like 5 minutes, but I felt kind of like my body. It took 2 hours for me to get into this state. It took me forever.
Oh my gosh, you're patient.
I had to be, because I had like the falling sensation. I'm like, I knew I was close,
right?
But I just like kept cycling. But I was so stubborn. I wanted to have something. I felt kind of like I dropped a few inches like into the couch. That's what it felt like. Like almost like I'd been unhinged from my body. And then I felt like I was, getting up like normal, except I felt lighter. And when I looked around the room, everything had this very blue tint to it.
Could you see your body laying there?
I didn't focus on it because I had read enough to know that you kind of want to get away from your body because your body's going to try to pull you back in.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't do much looking at my body, though I've had other experiences where I've seen my body and I've seen like light coming out of my eyes, like high beams. I've had other astral projection experiences that I wasn't in control of. That was more like a dreamlike state.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So what technique did you find worked the best for you? Is there one that you like, I don't know, that you can rely on yet, or are you still testing stuff out?
I haven't tried it since my first one. I went for a dream journal instead, and I just started tracking my experiences, because what I found, if you try to take control, you can you might not get messages that your higher self or whoever needs to send to you.
That's if you do what?
If you try to take control, if you try to just like have lucid dreaming and astral projection experiences all the time.
Oh, okay.
You might miss a dream message or something.
Oh, I see.
So like after the first one, I stopped doing it, but it actually, it's just, you have to be consistent. I found like it was just 2 weeks, and I hadn't even gotten to the more advanced stuff of like, doing more with the energy and just meditating and things like that. So for me, like the morning and evening affirmations and keeping a dream journal, and just learning to feel for the sensations that you get when, like, because of the techniques, I learned what it feels like. And so I can usually like feel the sensation of like when I'm going back to my body, like sometimes when I'm dreaming, I know about when I'm going to be waking up. And one of the things that you have to train if you really want to do astral projections, you have to train your shadow memory. Like that's the other importance of keeping a dream journal, is you could sometimes have a spontaneous experience, but if you don't get back to your body before you run out of energy, which I've had a lot of dream experiences where I could feel myself like walking. I was very lucid, but like you try to do too much, you can just feel you're using up your energy, and you're going to be waking up soon. So you have to be really efficient with your intent. That if you want to do astral projection, you can just like feel like the clock ticking. It's really interesting.
So you've grown to know the feeling of how much time you have running out?
In dreams, like it's just when I get a chance to have a lucid moment, you know how long you have, and for me, when I'm lucid in my dreams, I'm never given much time, and I think I found out why. I wasn't allowed to astral project after that,
Why do
even
you
though
think?
I tried. My higher self doesn't want me to go exploring. I would get into lots of trouble with the stuff that my soul knows. As an example, in one of the dreams that I had, my nickname was called Top Secret.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and dreams have said to me things like, you have a lot of information, but do you have to be so angry about expressing it? Apparently, I have a lot of anger. There's a lot that my soul is bitter and frustrated about. I caught myself having a dream where I made sure I was in a sealed room, and I was just like having a rant. So I had a dream about having a rant. Just like it was interesting what I was ranting about. Like apparently our holidays have really been like messed up. Like the Christmas celebrations we should be doing that in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
The Super Bowl and sports especially misdirect a lot of energy, like take attention away from where it needs to be directed. Mm-hmm. Like we need to take back our holidays. It's apparently a really big deal from my higher self perspective.
So you're talking about the way the holidays have been shifted to the wrong day because of calendars and things like that?
Yeah, and the hyper focus on sports holidays, apparently that's the worst. Yeah, like...
So everybody getting so excited about the Super Bowl or something, you mean?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, apparently that's like really bad. Like it pisses my soul off to no end. Enough to rant about it.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy shit, right?
Yeah.
There's just so much knowledge I've gained by just keeping a dream journal.
Yeah.
But like I had one experience. This really changed it, especially for my husband, because he's still like on the fence, you know, unbiased on the fence about all of this. He's starting to lean more into it being like all real and stuff. But the one experience that really started for him was I was taking a nap on my recliner, and this was like about a month after my first astral projection experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like there was a hand that like was pulling my soul out of my body from like the back of my neck. That alone would not have been too weird, because I could start feeling this sensation of like floating above my body. I could see my body. But there were like thoughts that were going on that I knew were not my own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Like something felt really wrong. Like almost like I was being told, like, you know, it's okay, it's fine, and it just didn't feel right at all. I was like, that's not what I'm thinking. That's not my thought. It like almost like sent up a red flag, and so like I immediately did an affirmation of I think I said like I am sovereign, is what I said. And I felt myself immediately fall back into my body. Yeah.
That was pretty wild.
It was... Oh, yeah, I know, right? I still keep thinking about, like, what would have happened had I not done that. Like, ugh.
Well, I don't know. I don't think there's anything to fear with it. I think fear holds us back, but I don't think you have anything to worry about.
I'm thinking that too. I'm almost wishing that I allowed it, because there's really no harm that would have come. But I think also that there's entities that they're just like people. They can be impatient. They can be not always have the best intent in mind.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I've like because when I was going through all this dream stuff, it started with a lot of like negative experiences and like going into like the deepest, darkest reaches of like just like terrible things that have happened. And
did you have a background in religion at all?
Not really. Like, I mean, I was raised Christian,
but
like my mom stopped going to church. How old was I when I stopped going? I don't know, 10, something like that. I can't even remember now. I never really paid attention. I never really had the religion barrier when it came to like astral projection and all that stuff, because I know that's like one thing you gotta like check,
overcome.
Overcome. So that wasn't really a barrier for me. I think a lot of those negative experiences come from like past lives, and but let's face it, this world has suffered a lot of abuses, and so my soul has suffered a lot of abuses, and there was just like a lot of trauma that I had to clear out. In fact, I still think I'm working on it, because I've had like an entity like look at me and be like, you're like looking at my energetic body, like your body is really messed up. I've had people like say they can see my energy, and it's like all like twisted and knots and stuff.
And you feel like that's from from previous lives? Carried over?
It has to be, because I've cleared everything noteworthy in this life. I haven't had a lot of I've had trauma in this life. I mean, my parents got divorced and things like that, but nothing like truly traumatic. I've come to accept a lot of the things that have happened in my life. In fact, I've been told in one of my dreams that there's only one piece of karma I have left, and that's it was even given a percentage too, like 7%, and it's with my husband. It's so we're working on something from a past life. It's actually kind of like I've been able to piece together clues of what the past life was. It seemed like it was like in the UK, and I think the year was 1774. I've kind of narrowed it through various different things down to around that time. It was from a well-to-do family. The father was probably a banker or something like that, because I lived in a mansion. Apparently, I was bedridden for like 7 years with like a childhood illness or something, and didn't have the best relationship with my mom. Like she always wanted me to wear like this dress or that dress, and I just like I guess even then was like a tomboy.
Right.
Didn't want to be like a proper lady. But I think in that life, like whatever I was supposed to achieve is what I'm trying to achieve now in this life, because
you mean like you didn't finish what you were doing, or?
Right, like the husband I have now is like the same soul of the husband I had then. I don't know exactly what happened, because sometimes when you have dreams or experiences, it's like all in code. But like I got stuck somehow, either literally or figuratively, and I died. and I must have been like no more than 25, 30 years old. But my husband lived to a ripe old age. He was like a professor or something, and I've had dreams where like he was angry at me. Like I was basically facing the bitterness that developed. Like he felt like I left him, too soon. So like bitterness grew out of me dying sooner. Like we were supposed to grow old together.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was actually arguing with him in the dream about like, exactly that. Like we were supposed to grow old together, and he just grew into a very bitter old man. And I'm still dealing with that bitterness with him like now. Like it's very hard for him to let go of it. Yeah, like stuff like that, and they're just like, wow, that's deep.
Well, did you have?
Yeah.
How did you get the information? Did this come to you in a dream? Did you say, or did you get a session with somebody that does Akashic readings or something?
I pieced this together from several dreams.
Okay, so from dream time. That's interesting then. So do you feel like there's other things you do in dream time?
Oh, lots of stuff. I've gone to other, we'll just say realms.
Mm-hmm.
I've had so many experiences. I kept a dream journal for like a year and a half, and like just some of the experiences in it are just like all over the place. Trying to think of like a good example. Trying to think like other realms. Oh, someone was like talking about elves, and I remember like the live stream chat. I was saying like I've met a couple of elves, and apparently they don't like me very much. In one dream, they put me in jail essentially. Like they didn't know what to do with me. Another time I met them in passing, and they were like I directed them somewhere. Those two were fine. But it seems, at least from my experience, they're secretive. They like to keep to themselves, and they are really limit their interactions. But I think it's also because of like whoever I am, as far as like if we're just talking about like what kind of starseed or whatever, like everybody kind of has their own terms for that. But like I found I don't really fit into any kind of like starseed group. The closest I've found is that apparently when I did get brought to Earth, it was against my will. I was kind of like imprisoned here or whatever. I do recall being brought to Earth. I was basically given an ultimatum. Some entities like wanted me to fight for them, and so they gave me an ultimatum of like either fight for us or we're going to send you to Earth. I said, I'm not going to fight for you. So I remember them wiping my memory and like putting like a droplet in one eye and then a droplet in the other eye to kind of represent like the illusions that and they said like we're gonna you're gonna be married to an old man, like, so almost like there's a soul that's kind of like my keeper to make sure I stay here. Not a very happy experience.
Right.
We'll say, at least I wasn't happy about it. And then apparently, like the ship that I came here on, I was with 3 other Syrians. I'm not Syrian, but I kind of got like adopted into their soul group or something, because we seem to like align our interests. So I kind of had this dream where I remembered that, and I like saw the 3 Syrians recovering. It seemed like like they were healing and getting over whatever experiences they had on Earth. I just like kind of said hi, went on my way. Yeah. It just
So your husband, is he is he okay with all of this, or does it just sound crazy to him?
It sounds crazy to him, but he's had two very interesting experiences that really have nudged him as far as it's going to be for the time being anyway. Like, we tried doing sessions on each other, but like I have trouble being hypnotized. Apparently I'm stubborn as they get. So I had limited success with reaching my higher self. Apparently I still have a block. I've worked to try and overcome it, but I'm just like, oh, I don't know what miracle I have to work to really be more connected to my higher self. But apparently there were two times in particular I was doing some things that would really have gone against our plan, our mission, whatever it is we have to achieve here. Nobody will tell us, by the way. It's top secret. They can't tell us, like Jack, and like some people at least like get some clues, but for us it's like, no, we're not telling you. And I'm so frustrating.
Yeah.
I know, right?
But
like,
don't you feel like if you needed the information, they would give it to you? So it's probably just redundant at this point. That's what I always feel like.
Yeah, like.
It's like all the other rabbit holes. They can just be more of a distraction. Even if it's good information, if it's not something that you really need at the time, it still could just kind of muddy up the water for you.
Right.
Especially in our especially in our truther community, where you sort of get hooked on something and then you just want more and more and more of it, as long as it's giving you some kind of information.
Right. I had to stop keeping my dream journal because I would spend hours writing down my experiences. Like, it took forever, some of the dreams. Like, I would remember every dream I had. It was just like, it was crazy.
Does it seem like it increases when you do write them down?
Oh, yeah. I have really good shadow memory, recall because of it. You got to keep practicing. You have to write down every experience you have, whether it's important or not, and it will send your dream recall through the roof. You will find those good dreaming days. It'll probably be like once a week you'll have like a really good dreaming day where you'll have like 5 dreams or something. Yeah.
I was writing them down for a few days in a row, and I got them like 3 or 4 days in a row. I got dreams, and then I stopped writing them down, and the dreams stopped. It's weird that writing them down makes you have more.
You have to write them down, even if you wake up and you don't remember anything. You'd be like, today I didn't remember anything, but like you maybe like write down like an affirmation. I will remember my dreams tomorrow, or whatever.
Okay.
But I want to get to like this experience.
Okay.
Because it was interesting even for me. So I was, how do I put this? So my husband and I have this karma, so we've been fighting a lot, and there's been many times that I thought about just like getting up and leaving. That I got so frustrated. Like, we just can't work it out. So one time I was planning to leave. Mar didn't know, but of course his higher self did. So what happened was, in this one, he actually kind of got this feeling that his higher self was going to come through. So he went there and he sat down in the recliner. He had a recorder playing, and he got comfortable, and he basically put himself into a trance, and his higher self came through. And this is coming from the guy that doesn't really believe this stuff.
Did he remember it?
Not really. That's why we recorded it. He didn't really remember any of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, and how exactly did he do it to get into that state?
He just had this urge that he had to go and do this. He just had this feeling, and it was kind of like tingling or whatever, and he just naturally fell into the trance.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. Right? It's like higher self is like, we're gonna talk, you and me now. I was not happy, and so I was arguing with his higher self. It's actually kind of funny now. I was like yelling at him. It's not. It's interesting what we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought about like putting it online or YouTube or whatever. Like my husband like got halfway through writing the transcript and stopped because, well, I would say he's lazy, but he would say that like he's moving at full throttle, but he's going at the speed of a turtle. This is how special he is. But yeah, like my leaving would have, you know, messed up whatever mission we have. Like he was saying stuff to me like, you know, I've got to live 2 lives, and it's important for me to have the job and do the work, and Omar to stay home for whatever. Like, apparently he's energetically built different from other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, energy for me into him, and it goes back to me and out. So he can't ground energy the way most people can.
But you guys together work better then.
Yeah, like we're built. Whatever we have to do, it's me and him together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having a rough time with it. It's well, I'll quote his higher self. He said, "I'm too stubborn to fail."
Mm-hmm.
So take that for what it's worth, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know, like, it's weird having a conversation with your spouse's higher self. That's
that sounds trippy.
It's very trippy. But
I mean, if you think about it, that would be the optimal way, right? For a couple to get together and say, look, let's just let our higher selves discuss this because we just keep arguing too much. So we'll record the session and see what they decide.
I know, we would just fight. Because I know that my higher self and his higher self fight.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have dreams about us fighting.
That's wild.
I know. Our souls have been together for a very long time. Very long time. Very, very long time. He's kind of like my protector. He's my shield.
So what did he think about this whole channeling thing? Did it freak him out?
He's a very reserved individual. He doesn't freak out.
Mm-hmm.
He thought it was really weird, but like, it's definitely hard for him to ignore.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it happened to him again, and he didn't realize that it did until I told him.
Oh, it happened to him another time and he didn't realize?
Yeah, like he was like planning to just take a nap, and then like his higher self took that opportunity to come through without him consciously being aware of it, because apparently the first time he gave me an earful wasn't enough. Apparently I haven't been on my best behavior.
That's hilarious.
I know. It wasn't at the time, but it is now.
Right. But that's still awesome that he's able to do that. Have you been able to do anything remotely like that?
No, because his higher self says I'm my higher self can't get through to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because for whatever reason I'm blocking her, but I don't know where the block is. I can't locate it. I know.
What, do you meditate or anything?
I don't do that enough. I need to. I've been neglectful in more ways than one. I've just got a lot of concerns that I have to deal with right now. Like, I left my job, and apparently I wasn't supposed to, but the job was very stressful. I was in the Coast Guard, and I got tired of being in the military, of moving around. I wanted to, settle down. I wanted to, be able to like buy a piece of land and just be able to focus more on my spiritual journeys and stuff, because I know I need to like be more in tune with nature and things like that. But that's kind of what like his higher self was saying about like I've got to live 2 lives. Apparently I've got to work some jobs with some hefty income and also do the spiritual stuff. And I had a very difficult time doing it, because when I was on the watch floor, I would be working like 12 hours and then have to go back there the next day and work 12 hours again. And it really drains you. It's like you come home, you sleep, you go back. And then sometimes I would be like working nights for a month. Like I really wasn't feeling like I was seeing my family, and I wanted to be more involved in my daughter's homeschool, and it was just it was like being on the merry-go-round. It's like I want to get off now. And I was super stressed. And so it wasn't that long that I left. And in fact, in the job search right now, it's actually been pretty disappointing, because there were 2 jobs that I could have had that the pay would have even been better, but I had really bad luck and I lost them. Like with one, I didn't have part of the clearance that I needed. I didn't realize it had expired, so they couldn't hire me. And then with the other one, the company lost the contract.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure what the universe is trying to tell me.
Well, one thing
that
that you can try, I mean, you can, and I guess it doesn't hurt to try, but one thing that, because I have the same issue with trying to meditate for extended amount of times, for an extended amount of time, and I think that sometimes we're not listening, we're not listening. We don't take the time to stop and listen. So one of the things I've been doing lately is to just take a deep breath and feel like I'm breathing in the relaxation, exhaling out any tension. And then I sit there and I just listen. And if I have a question, I'll ask it as I'm taking a deep breath. So, what job should I, in your instance, you might say, what job might I pursue, or what direction should I go? And then take that deep, relaxing breath and just listen for 5 seconds and see if you hear anything. And then just do that periodically and start sort of opening up the dialogue, or at least making yourself available to be silent for just a few seconds at a time to see if you hear anything from your higher self. It's worth a try,
Right. I guess part of the issue is maybe like I just got so used to getting messages through dreams. Yeah, that could be it. It could be I need to do it like more consciously, I suppose.
Yeah, but even you don't have to even do what I was saying about listening. I mean, I've asked questions before and then just keep my eyes open for an answer, and it can come any sort of way, through synchronicities in music, or a bumper sticker, or just really anything you can think of. I've gotten messages in the clouds before, so I mean, there's really no limit to, if you're open and aware and observing and looking for those answers. I think they're there more than we realize. We're just, busy worrying about the future or the past.
Right. For me, for me, I don't know if this is what the universe wants, because apparently I have a very hefty job to do that is contingent on being successful, because other souls are relying on me. But like there's a lot of pressure. Like the insights that I've had about like just I think it gets to me sometimes. Like So I just keep thinking, like, it can't just be any job. It's got to be about the money. But then I'd like it to be about the passion. I very quickly lose an interest in a job. So the other concern is, like, even if I do find something, you know, when is my interest going to die? Like, is it going to be a year from now? Because it's just hard for me to keep an interest. Because I'm always wanting to do something new. And I'm okay with having a lot of just odd jobs and always doing something new, but apparently it's got to be, like, stable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, like, so I kind of have an idea what it needs to be, but
I don't know. Do you have anything that you get excited about? I mean, just when you just remove money from the equation, if that wasn't an issue, where's your drive or your desire?
I wanted it to be about, like, you know, being a successful YouTuber. That's what I've settled on, because I think of all the kinds of information I can put out there, not just, like, you know, spiritual stuff, just like games, and I love games. One of the few things, you know, I don't get tired of. I found myself playing, like, a lot of D&D lately, for instance, because I'm a storyteller. Like,
Right.
I love a good story.
Do you write or anything, or do art of any sorts?
I do art. I guess my concern with that is, like, I don't want to be a starving artist, and I'd make some money, but I never pursued it as a viable career, because, like, it's difficult to, like, my husband won't get a job anytime soon. He absolutely refuses. So the pressure's on me not just to get a job, but he won't be raking in even supplemental income anytime soon. Because, you know, this is one reason we fight.
Finances?
It's more now than ever. Like, I was okay with you know, us being more or less a single income, because, like, the entire time that I was in the Coast Guard, he didn't really have a job. And for his own reasons, didn't get one. He likes saying it's not my fault. Yeah, he's like, you're the one that wanted to homeschool, and I needed to stay here, and so I couldn't go and, like, you know, pursue my interests and blah blah blah, find something. Like, we need to pay off our debts even before I should go, and, you know, he has all these concerns. And he lobs it on me, and says this is all your fault. Yeah.
So that's why his higher self stepped in, because you were fed up, you were going to leave, and his higher self had to step in and keep you guys around, because there's this bigger mission at play that was in jeopardy if you leave.
Exactly. And so this is the push and pull that I'm in right now, and the situation gets even crazier if you factor in that I think I found my, you know, twin flame. You know.
Oh, and it's not your husband?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. I guess that's another monkey wrench in the program, right?
It is. Because I knew for the longest time that there would be two men in my life that I would love very much. Because that's what my dreams have been telling me for years. The first significant dream I had that started me on this whole spiritual journey was when in dream this guy came up to me and he whispered in my ear, I can't wait for the day that society will accept me as your second husband. I know.
And this was in a dream, but do you know this person in real life?
I met him about a year ago.
Was that before or after the dream?
This was after.
Okay.
I've had many dreams with my twin flame. I've gotten to know him through my dreams.
Before you actually knew who he was in real life, right?
Yes.
So what was that like meeting him? I'm sorry, I'm just like imagining, like you've got this person, you know, and then you meet him in real life. What was that like?
Meeting him in real life?
Yeah, after knowing who he was, and then you finally meet him in real life. Was that a trip?
Yes, because he's married.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
This gets more and more convoluted, doesn't it?
It hurts so much.
So what is your feeling about this then? Do you think this is, you know, the universe is being cruel? Do you think you guys are supposed to get together anyway, or where are you at with this whole thing? What are you thinking?
I don't know, because the thing about your twin flame doesn't necessarily mean that you marry them.
Mm-hmm.
It's the other half of your soul, and you're meant to work together,
Right.
and it's going to be different for everyone. Which is another thing, like, you know, I on my YouTube channel I'd like to talk about, because so many people are lost on, like, the whole point of twin flame, because I know for a fact not everybody came here with the twin flame, because I feel my husband isn't one of those.
Right.
I think he's like the complete soul, which is probably why it's easier for him to connect with his higher self the way that he does.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've come to understand, because I've met his higher self in dream and gotten to know him pretty well, and that's how I got to know the three of us, because I've had some, like, very in-depth, like, deep in trance dreams of just, like, crazy insights into my soul.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, we make a trinity, basically.
Mm-hmm. So this guy, where's he at? Does he know what's going on yet, or is he in the dark?
He's another skeptic.
Mm-hmm.
But I've told him he doesn't really believe it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to doubt my belief in it, because he's not the type to do that.
Yeah.
So, like, he's aware.
Mm-hmm.
And we definitely have feelings for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So check.
So do you feel like you have a job to do with this other guy as well, like you do with your husband? I mean, beyond, like, just a couple relationship, or, you know, just some kind of higher purpose for coming together in this incarnation?
Well, I think it goes back to, it would help to know what the mission is, to have a better idea of how he'd fit in with that. I've gotten some insights into, like, what I'm supposed to do. Like, I'm supposed to come up with, like, 50 ideas. Like, I'm a synergist. I look at the big picture, and I like put all the pieces together, which is why I felt I had to put my nose into every topic and learn a little bit about everything, rather than, like, mastering something. Yeah. So I had to learn what the Mandela effect was. I had to learn, you know, about 9/11 truth, and, you know, like, I had to go over here, and, you know, I had to get into all of that.
Right.
I know I'm going to be doing some kind of public speaking at some point. How he's involved, I don't know, because most of the time in my dreams he's been a jerk. Like,
and this is the other guy?
Yeah, this is my twin flame, yeah.
Okay.
Well, see, the thing is, he was meant to be my total opposite. In one of our dreams, he kind of put it this way: it's like you'll be the diva, I'll be the deva. Basically, I kind of translated to be as, like, I'll be God and he'll be the false god.
So are we talking yin yang sort of opposites, or okay?
Yeah, like,
So you guys are supposed to clash in many ways.
Yes. Yes.
But that
Very,
makes you,
very-
you both, that excels you both into your journey, though, probably, right?
Right. Because at least in the physical, he's not a jerk, at least not to me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
This has been at the soul level. He's been my antagonist in just about every life that we've had. He's been the villain, basically, goading me to fight him, probably to teach me how to, fend for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to become the warrior. I told him, in fact, in one dream, like he was the instigator. I was supposed to be a healer, but because of him constantly pestering me through countless incarnations, I became a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Definitely.
So man, it's like, gosh, to have all these dreams and to be guided by dreams and to see so much in dreams, but then you really don't feel like you have a connection outside of dreams, like with your higher self or anything like that?
Yeah, apparently I don't. This is
Mm-hmm.
according to my higher self. So
you have a better connection with your with your guy's higher self than you do with your own, basically. Sounds like.
Yes. It's a bit weird.
That's weird.
I've met my higher self in dream. I have. I've even met with my higher self, is the way I put it. And I've occasionally even had like the galactic perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is why.
But not while you're awake.
Right.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
So have you, when you talk to your man's higher self, did he give you any tips on how to unblock your connection with your own higher self? Did he have any, I don't know, just helpful stuff for you?
I was irate at the time, so I wasn't really focused on like getting tips for how to unblock. Because of, like when he chose to, because it was like a matter of like, it was more important to get me the information that he needed to, rather than like, open Q&A. Like that would typically be like a quantum healing session or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was like an angry quantum. Anyway, he said what I think that I'm connected with, as far as like, sometimes I feel like my body has like automatic movements, like I can feel my energy like take over, and like my head will move of its own accord.
Mm-hmm.
He says that's my pride.
Oh.
Yeah. So the block is somewhere in my upper chakras. Yeah, probably my like my pineal, my sixth chakra.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to, I know it's not much, like, but always the last little bit is the hardest.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
The last 10% can feel like another 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that pesky bell curve that gets you in the end. But yeah.
Yeah. Like, so my spiritual journey is really kicking me in the butt right now, and I'm just like,
Well, are you feeling overwhelmed with all of this?
I get overwhelmed with the knowledge that I have. It makes me cry sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel overwhelmed. Like even at the soul level, like sometimes I have this feeling of being overwhelmed or incredibly sad,
mm-hmm.
and I don't know where it's coming from. I know it's coming from my higher self. So she's either really angry, laughing her head off, or incredibly sad. Yeah, I get, or resigned is another one. Like there's this deep resentment that I have. Like I know it's at the soul level. Like we are so bitter.
Mm-hmm.
Incredibly bitter. I think
Right.
because of the abuses, because of the uncooperativeness of people, like how long this has taken, you know, for this journey that we're all here going on. But it's not like I don't think she's mad at the people on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
She's mad at those that are like trying to conduct this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's mad at those that are just sitting there on the sidelines watching and not doing a damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Getting too caught up in spiritual, political red tape. I've had dreams where I am basically scolding them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're sitting here judging me, but at least I'm doing something.
Mm-hmm.
Is how it sounds. Like,
right.
and that's where the bitterness comes from, because there was a stream I had where, like, apparently there was this trial going on, and I was like arriving, but they had started it before I got there. It was concerning a terror in reality.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently I was responsible for the terror in reality, and they wanted to kick me out of the universe for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like looking at him like, look, it's patched right now. We don't have to be concerned with this. It's there, it's patched. And then I got really big. I like took this like this energetic gum or whatever, and I got really big, and I was like staring at all the rungs of, like, there were like several layers to this court, and I like stared them down.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you're spending all this time trying to kick me out over something, from the perspective at least, you know, trivial,
mm-hmm.
but you're not doing anything. It's like, participate in this universe and take care of it, or
mm-hmm.
leave. And so I know one of my soul jobs is to kick lazy butts
mm-hmm.
out if they're not doing their job.
So you're like a motivator, inspirational speaker. An angry inspirational speaker on the higher levels, right?
Right. I'm like, please, I understand this is the universe of freedom. We're here to explore freedom, and the energy that comes from that is love, and that's great. But there's still some rules that we've all agreed on when we started this thing. And our universe is in jeopardy right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because if this ascension thing don't happen the way it's supposed to, the whole universe just kind of goes, and we have to start over again.
Right.
So we've got to get this right.
Well, that's definitely the timeline I don't want to be on. You know what I mean?
Right. And the fact that I know that's my specialty. That's why I'm here. I'm aware of these things. Like, this is why I don't fit into any Starseed group, because I wasn't born when this universe was born. My soul is older than this universe.
Mm.
And apparently that's not the case for every soul. Some souls were born in this universe, for instance. So, like, I've been around since forever, and all souls look at me kind of like, So,
well, that's exciting. What kind of what have you had any kind of ascension symptoms or anything lately with all the energies? How do you perceive all that?
I mean, I can feel energy buzzing at like 2:00 in the frickin' morning, and I have like crazy restless legs, and I basically don't sleep through the night because I'm sometimes filtering so much energy. Thank goodness it's not every day.
Right.
Some days I feel like crap when other people are feeling like crap, so I know it's the energies. Sometimes something being worked through. I I don't get anything really like too weird.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm already like past the point of like the really pretty stuff because
Were you seeing orbs and figures or anything like that? Are you getting any visuals in your waking time?
No, and that's the one thing that I've always found strange is like I know like as people, you know, when they're talking about their experiences, they're always saying, oh, I see orbs, or I see alien craft, or I see, you know, things like that, and I don't really have any experiences where I've like I thought I saw something, you know. A lot of my experiences come from dreams, and that sets some people off. Like they're like, how can you have all those experiences? And you know, I don't know. That's just how I get my experiences. I get them when I'm sleepy.
Well, one thing that I want to ask you about is when you were talking about the emotions that you feel, and sometimes you feel sadness. Have you ever considered maybe you're an empath and you're picking up on other people's vibrations around you?
Oh, I know I'm an empath, and I know I have trouble recognizing when it's my own emotion or someone else's.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually when I'm like, where the hell is this coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember I had a dream where, like, I felt afraid, and I asked myself, why am I afraid?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've overcome most of my fears, like spiders.
Right.
Yeah, like, but I don't know when I'm picking up someone else's emotion, but I also know that sometimes, you know, the bitterness and the resentment really is mine, just because I can correlate it with some of the dreams that I've had.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not always interacting with people, so it's not like I can, you know, be like, you,
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking up your sadness. Keep your sadness to yourself. And I'll just be like sitting in my house, and I'll be like, I'm sad today.
Well, when you feel sad though, and you don't have a reason, isn't that's a pretty good indicator that it's not coming from you? But you feel like it could be coming from your dream state or your dream time, right?
I think, like, you know, like at the soul level, like, even if it's, I mean, I think I could just be picking up on the collective sometimes.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
so much like Jane down the street, but like just in general.
Mm-hmm.
I can just like tune into just
like a consensus thought stream, maybe. So it's like a collective thought stream, if you will.
Yeah, like you know, the equivalent of feeling the planet's pain for instance, because I've had some dreams, you know, concerning that, like just how much, there's still some dreams I hesitate to talk about because I'm not really sure like what entities want me to talk about, and you know, because like I remember like one time, like even just saying my soul's name, kind of like I am the ancient, the spirit guide for the world. That was revealed me to me at one time. Like how's that for
And that was a dream. How was it delivered to you? Was it like a guide in your dream that spoke to you, or how did it come to you?
In this particular dream, it was more to do of it was one of my soul origin dreams, more to do with what my mission is here, and for that snippet of it, there's a lot to the dream. It would take me an hour just to tell you all the details in the dream, but I was speaking. It was from the perspective of I was giving a tour of a shop that was supposed to be like my space that I would like to inherit.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be my space, but I didn't have control of it because it had been like sold to someone else and they were using it as a gift shop.
Mm.
So there's something about like my energy's been stolen from me. Because in the dreams, like I lost my inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this inheritance, this. It's almost like my spiritual mission was stolen from me.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I think the sadness is me, because, like I said, the things my soul's been through. It's a story. Yeah, I know. I need to do like a series of videos, but it would take forever to go through the entire thing.
Yeah. You could touch on the high points. I mean, are you enjoying this journey? Because it sounds like you got a lot going on, and really the main thing is that you're having a blast while you're doing it, I guess.
Yeah. I know. I'm right. I'm taking up the stream. I wasn't even thinking about that. I mean,
no, I'm just saying, just in general, just, you know, having a positive outlook and excitement about even the unknowns, you know?
Oh yeah. I've learned to look at even some of my more negative tone dreams as like they're gifts. Nightmares are gifts for us to appreciate. You know, you need to have a contrast, and in order for you to have something that's positive, you need something negative to compare it to. But then you're supposed to put them together, and you're supposed to get that third thing. That's never not really like, you know, positive or negative, and that's where most people get hung up.
Right. That's superposition, if you will.
Yeah. But yeah, I was giving a tour of going back to the dream. I was like giving a tour, and I said, I am the ancient, the spirit guide for the world. And apparently even that is considered top secret, and there's some entities that don't want me even saying that. Like they were looking at me like, don't say that, I'm like, what? Why? Why? I don't understand. If you would just like, you know, tell me some things to help me put all this together so I could, you know, take back my mission in you know, find that stream of income I need so I can support my family while I'm doing the things I need to do in the physical, so my soul can still do the things I need to do while I'm sleeping. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you expecting messages to be delivered in your dreams, or do you think you'll have some spiritual gifts come online?
I do have a spiritual gift, but it's I think entities have tried to explain it to me, but I think it's very hard to understand. It's called shadow formation. It's apparently a special ability that I have, and the way it's been shown to me is like there's like an active way of using it and a passive way of using it. Actively, I can send out millions of copies of myself and explore all possible futures, is what I understand.
Okay.
In the passive sense, I guess I can turn it into some kind of field, and it can help, I think, like make telepathy easier, communication easier. I'm supposed to use it passively. I've been told that if I can master it, like if I can pull it off, like I'd be the greatest at this skill.
Right.
But for the life of me, I'm like, okay, I mean, I feel like it's something I have to work on, but I'm just like, I don't even know if I'm right, if that's what it really how it's supposed to work.
Right. That's the that's the $1 million question. I would definitely try those moments of silence and see if you hear anything, and try to bring, you know, it sounds like you got awesome contact during your dream time. It's just sort of bringing it to your awake conscious time. I mean, you're connected, you know, you just got to figure out how to connect it in other ways. But at least you're having experiences, you know. That's awesome.
That's true. Yeah. There's I'm definitely grateful for that. I was hoping with like learning the whole quantum healing thing that I could you know, get those answers that I've been seeking, but if I've got some blocks that would kind of like prevent that, at least at, you know, at this present moment, I'd have trouble connecting consciously.
Very good. Well, I really appreciate you calling, Heather. I got a couple more calls to try to fit in before the top of the hour here. This your first time calling in, right?
It is.
See, I feel like I need some kind of noisemaker or party favor thing. Congratulations on your first call in. I need a bell or a gong or something. But it was a pleasure talking to you, and yeah, it was great to hear your experiences, and don't be a stranger. Let us know if any of that stuff happened, or, you know, an update on what's going on. So much interesting stuff to check back in with us on.
Right. I'll try not to be a stranger.
I appreciate it, Heather.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Let's go.
You're listening to The Love Stream.
Unbiased and on the fence.
Awesome. Big thank you to Heather. We're going to go back to the phone lines, 905, area code. Sorry for the wait. Who's on the line?
Hello.
Yep, you are live. Who am I talking to?
Hi, it's Hallie. How are you?
Hallie, Holly?
Halle.
Halle. Okay. Well, welcome to the call. Where are you calling from? Oh, yeah.
I'm calling from Toronto, Ontario.
Very nice. First time caller?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, it was weird. I saw your came up on my feed that you're having a live, and I was just about to head to bed, and then I was told that I should phone in. I've never phoned into a radio show or to a show before, and I thought they said that I should be sending in some light language to help clear some people with their energy tonight.
Ooh, that would be awesome. You do light language?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And just from your last caller, I could sense that she has blockages in her crown chakra and her in her upper chakras, and I just would like to try to clear some fear for some people. I know the energies are kind of crazy, and they're up and down, and it can get very confusing for people. I know that I get confused, and so I just thought I'd phone in and try to help people out a little bit if I can.
Yes, please do. Thank you, Holly. I appreciate that. Actually, I'll mute my mic so it doesn't interrupt your...
Okay, I'm just going to... Okay. I don't know how long it's going to be. It's from my higher self and my highest light council. And I've called in the archangels and ascended masters and my galactic family. So I don't know how long it's going to be, but I I've sent in 10 for it to be to clear all the fear and the negative self-talk, and just for clarity for souls to move forward, especially under this the new moon tonight. Yeah, here goes. I ask everybody just to center in your heart. I ask you to go down to the heartbeat of Gaia and the new crystalline grid, and then back up into your heart. And I'll start. Itina nakalo koi chineka warta. Ikana kwarata inchineke. Sineke ne kwarakai o tora koi chinekaraka. Nini na hawarakai o tora koi inchineke. Kine kwarata inkare chineke kwa. Tika nakare chineke karo to inkana namahana marakaite. Sineke kora koi chineke kora kana marahana marakaita. Na sratakanin chinire kono to irekine kwana karakaite. Nini kine koro koinchi rekina koro ko akana kara satakanin chinikireke. Hana mene ko ichini kana akaireke. Tini kine oro ko ikane kware tini chini koreka. Haike ne mai norotoni ne me chine aitra tamahana marakaite. Sine kene oto no oi chine kana kwarakaike. Nine kwana ma chine kana kwarakaika. That's it. Are you there?
Oh, very good. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I could definitely feel that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So
Thanks
hopefully
for
that
sharing.
will help people to. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. No, I know it's people are having a really rough time, especially with the spikes in the Schumann resonance and all the energy coming in, and it's a lot to deal with. So I appreciate when everybody says they're struggling. It's very authentic because it's difficult to deal with at times.
Well, that's awesome. How long have you been doing light language?
Not very long.
Is it something that came to you? Or?
Yeah, I've been doing it for about 3 months now, actually.
Nice.
But I've got several different ones coming in. But like a lot of people, Starseeds, or, you last caller said that she's not really a starseed, but I'm sort of outside of, some Lyran, council, whatever, but, a lot of souls are, well, from my understanding, a lot of souls are very old souls, the starseeds that have come here are very old souls. And so we all have the ability within us. And once you connect to it, it's very healing. It's a way to activate yourself and to clear out all of the energy that doesn't serve you any longer. And it's a really beautiful way to heal. So anyway, I hope it helps somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. That's funny you said that, because I used to do that back. I used to, back when I was in church and I was Pentecostal, I would actually go to these prayer meetings throughout the week, and they were intercessory prayer meetings, and I'd spend hours speaking in tongues, and then I quit for a long time. And then as soon as I got back into the spiritual community, or got into the spiritual community, I started having dreams that I was speaking in tongues, and really weird, strange things coming back around full circle with the whole light language thing. I think it's really just kind of an misunderstood mechanism,
It is, and because like I was here in Lemuria and Atlantis and sort of Egypt and before then, and so because there's no space and time, it really is, it's galactic, it's source energy, it's from our timelines, it's just that it resonates with your heart and your soul, and a lot of people just can't, they're always in their head and they can't understand that, and so it does get misconstrued a lot.
That's very good, though. Have you had anybody try to interpret anything you said, or is it more of an energetic thing? How do you see the light language?
You know what? There's a lot of amazing light language channelers out there. and I've learned so much from a lot of them. One girl that I learned from, she could interpret it. Not all of it, but some of it. And there's quite a few of it that actually can interpret the messages. But I mean, it's very individualized. It goes with your own resonance and your own frequency. And so, although there may be a message that is being sent out, it's really up for your soul and heart interpretation. And I think that's really the best way to do it, because it's so different, you know. But I mean, I do get when I do channel it, I do get an idea of what they're saying. Yeah.
There's like a resonance to it, isn't it? It's like you can kind of feel what it is rather than, I guess, audibly understand it like we do speech. It's more like you feel the vibration.
And it's just like with kids, like when they're learning a language, or you know, or like when we're remembering, we're not really remembering, we're just tapping into like the sort of the knowledge or the morphic field. But like when kids learn a language, it takes them a while to sort of understand the context of it. And I think the more you speak it, the more you understand the conceptual idea of what they're saying. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, that's cool. So would you say that, you know, you starting the light language and everything, has your life gotten pretty exciting over the last few years, more than usual? As you open up to these new things?
Well, you know what, I mean, I was a truther before this. I think I've always been, I've never really felt like I fit in here. You know, different things have happened, many things have happened in life. And, but I mean, I was a truther for a couple of years. And then, you know, in February, I kind of awoke, like really woke up to what was, you know, happening spiritually. And, it's just been full speed, and it can get overwhelming, but it's so much shedding of the ego. It's been amazing, and I think that's just a huge thing for people right now. The fear is like you just have to keep shedding your ego and shedding the fear and keep shedding all of that energy, because that's what's really going to help you to connect with your higher self and connect with everything that you need to, with your purpose and your mission and everything.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
It's an exciting time, I think. I've like grown in leaps and bounds over the last couple of years. It's just amazing how, I don't know if it was just becoming more open-minded, less fear, that has really increased the growth I've seen in my journey that I'm making. But it's been really exciting.
You've been doing it for a while though, haven't you?
I started this channel in 2017. And I started that year in the middle of my dark night of the soul, and I started this channel in hopes of sort of pulling myself out, and it was sort of just an idea, and then it grew into this, and now I see hindsight's 2020, you know. But yeah, so I've always been a truth seeker, but I've grown so much in the last since I don't know, it's just since I've kind of come back to it. So I went more left brain for a while, and I came back to trying to be more balanced, you know.
Yeah. It's accelerating. I mean, the more starseeds that are awakening, it's just it's exponential. I think that it's all accelerating, and there's more energy coming in, and it's just everything working together is just bringing more and more stuff. Yeah, and it's awakening more people. So
yeah, it's like a snowball effect.
I've never went. Pardon?
I said it's like a snowball effect.
Snowball effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So as we grow here as a group and we expand this light and we grow brighter and brighter, I think we're going to see some exponential growth, and I think we're going to hit the tipping point that people talk about, where we see just a huge shift in the whole collective, because that's what's lagging, it seems, you know.
Yeah. Well, I think on the higher dimensions, it's all collapsed. That's my understanding. It's just that you know, I live in Toronto, and so I was on the subway today, and I was looking at all these people, and everyone is asleep. Everyone is asleep, and I'm thinking, you know, I'm talking to my higher self, and I'm saying, you know, I'm sending out light and love, and I'm saying, this is huge because
Mm-hmm.
there are so many people that are asleep, and what we're going to have to do as a Starseed collective to
Mm-hmm.
assist people is it's astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's exciting, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
In a good way. In a
Yeah,
good way.
definitely. I have an optimistic
Yeah.
outlook for the future. I know that.
Absolutely. You have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when you
Yeah.
realize we're creating it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And you realize that, everything is a mirror. That was the hardest thing for me to realize, that everything out there is actually a mirror to what's going on inside of me, and that's a real tough one for a lot of people to wrap their heads around or to accept.
Right.
So,
But if you don't realize that, then you find yourself combing the mirror instead of your own hair, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that doesn't do much good.
Absolutely. That's so funny.
Yeah, but yeah, that's just to go back within. That's funny that you change the outside by changing the inside.
Yeah, and vice versa, up and
Mm-hmm.
down. Above, so is below, and
Yeah.
it's amazing. And it's just the ego that stands in the way, and I really struggle with it. I didn't think I had an ego. I really didn't after all stuff through my life. But it's amazing when you really peel back the layers, like how deep the programming is in there, the ego programming. It's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So so it's an interesting challenge.
Well, Holly, I want to thank you, and I really appreciate you calling in and doing your light language. It was really awesome. People liked it. And we'll
That's
see.
good. I'm happy.
And I think more people are going to start doing this because I don't know. I just had a dream about it out of the clear blue, and I think that there's a connection there. I don't feel like there's any accidents. So.
Yeah. You know what? I that's why I'm trying to get out more. It takes a lot to sort of put yourself out there, and that's why I appreciate what you're doing. And I just hope that it helps somebody out there, just to maybe trigger something or to clear something. That's what we're here for. So
Yeah,
help each other
definitely.
out.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you,
Appreciate
Holly.
talking to you.
Yeah, it was nice
You
talking to
take
you
care
too.
now.
You too. Lots of love to you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay, lots of love. Bye-bye.
Your calls, your stories, on air. You're listening to the Love Stream.
Sharing the love and spreading the light all around the world. This is Unbiased and On the Fence.
All right, trying to go back to the phone lines. I'm waiting for Dana if she can get in here. You will want to press in 147-7973. And you guys, you can actually join from the website. That link is in the description box below. But you can go to talkshoe.com/show/love stream. And if you've got a mic and, headphones or whatever on your computer, you can actually just call in from your computer. So if you're international and you just can't get the phone number to work, try that. Might work out for you. Let's see here. See if we can fit one more in here. All right, going to go back to the phone lines. 313 area code. Who am I talking to? You are live.
Hello?
Hello?
Is this working?
It's working. Who am I talking to?
Oh, my name is Dana, known as Dana Patterson 528 on YouTube.
Oh, nice. Okay, I didn't see your thumbnail. Okay, you're who I was waiting for. So what's been going on with you, Dana?
Oh man, a lot. I think I exist in probably 33 different dimensions at once. I'll try not to go into a whole life history thing here, but I've been seeing a lot of stuff in the skies and been getting some cool pics. The other night I caught it was, best you could say is UFO. It was orb in nature. I went out, I said, just in, through my heart space, I was like, man, if there's anything out here, I'd like to see something. And well, I seen something, so I started saying, okay, maybe it's a light tower, which is not right because the red, this was blue. So then it started moving up and down. So, it was moving up and down, and I said radio tower to move sideways. Radio tower to move sideways. It kept moving and doing stuff along with my thoughts. As I said to it, well, maybe it's not doing that. But the weird thing is about 10 years ago, I started having dreams that made no sense to me. I was seeing stuff in the skies. I was in some dimensional space in the universe itself. And then I had nightmares about Detroit, and it looked like an apartment, but I was in jail, and it all just led back to this part of my life. The last 3 years I went through, I guess they say like dark night of the soul, a reprogramming thing. And when I went through that, all the stuff that was from when I was younger started to come back, like abilities online and stuff, and it is just wild. I'm catching some pictures. I'm trying to put stuff on YouTube as much as I can. I got a lot of it on Facebook. But yeah, that's I pretty much just wanted to share that with everybody. I don't talk to many people much. It's me and the dog, and I listen to the show a lot, and I get kind of excited.
Yeah, I've seen you in here for a while now. You've been watching for, probably close to when I first got started.
Yeah,
2017, a couple years.
Yeah, it was like, I think it was like 2016. I almost had a stroke. I had my daughter over at the house, and something happened. We're both like really empathic, and she had that like carry energy going. And it was right after that. It was a weird story. I ended up moving back to Michigan, ended up at my ex-mother-in-law's, and realized in tears one night listening to Native American flute music that I was going through a spiritual reawakening, even though I wasn't even looking this stuff up. But, that my past is kind of trippy. I went to the Akashic Record at the age of 14 by accident, the Akashic Record, through meditation. I didn't even know what it was till like 20 years later. Yeah. And what I seen, it looked like the answers to everything. And as soon as I seen what I was looking at, I was like, I see the answer. And it just disappeared, and I came out of it and never went back again. But yeah, it's right now. Just everybody stay in the high vibe. Don't get into any fear of this. I keep putting this stuff all over YouTube and everywhere because I'm telling you, when you say that you have control of your reality, and metaphysics and quantum physics and all this teaches us that basically your perception and the perception of what's there is why it's there. Like the holographic universe, all that stuff. Literally you're creating your own reality. And even on a psychological level, we know that's important too, to condition your brain certain ways. So don't let any of the fear stuff, any of the stuff happening in the world, things burning up, any of this stuff get into. Just keep on that highest level. And because I vibe so high sometimes I can't go around a lot of people because they can't handle it. But the more you do that, the more your abilities come online. And then no matter what happens, you'll just look at it and you go, look, it's all part of the process. We all came here, volunteer to be part of this physical, being, and everything's needed, I mean, you don't know love without pain. If you have enough pain, trust me, you know love. I've had a lot of crazy stuff happen, I've been jumped, had my, robbed, all kind of stuff. But if you stay in that vibe, right now is the perfect time. Not only will you start getting better, but, you'll start seeing the stuff in the skies, all the illusions will go away. Just keep looking up, stay in high vibes.
Yeah, and another important point of what you're saying there, not only will you see more of the positive stuff, you see less of the negative stuff, It's a two-part thing. I mean, a lot of the things that bother you become ankle biters, and it's not to say that there's no problems, but you definitely pull yourself up out of the muck if you can stay high vibe.
Well, yeah, and you got to be prepared for that too. Just like that movie, what was that movie where put on the glasses, you start seeing Obey and all this stuff. It's
They Live,
like that.
I think.
Yeah, but if you say to yourself, look, I can control a good portion of my reality, and all of us together can control the whole thing, then you'll do what I do. You turn on the news and you start laughing because it literally looks like you're watching a movie, a scripted movie that is so ridiculous you can't help but laugh at it. Life already looks like a movie when you get to that point, but that, it helps you out. So then you don't go into fear. You're like, yeah, man, It's like a great big movie, and I'm not participating in that. I'm participating in this.
Exactly. Man, you got it, dude. I mean, yeah, I'm hearing you. That's like right what I'm dealing with right now. In fact, I'm about to put out this trust video that my higher self's been like dealing with me, and what I'll do is I'll get an idea for a video, and then I'll like sort of just kind of start working through how I want to lay it out and what I want to mention and all that stuff. But in this particular instance, which this happens a lot when I come across something really good, is that I will continually keep adding to it. So I never get around to doing it because it keeps expanding and unpacking, and more information keeps coming in. I'm like, this, I'm like halfway. At first, I was almost all the way done with the video, but now I've been working on it for like 2 months, and I'm like only halfway done because stuff keeps coming in, and it's all connected, and a lot of it's tying into what you're saying, that there's this level of trust that we can have, where no matter what comes at you, good or bad, it's there to serve you in some way. It's there to help you grow.
Yeah.
And you don't fear anything.
Yeah,
because it's all for your good,
Yeah, it's fully connected to your higher self, and man, it will come out when it's ready for you. I have stuff that's all the way from 2 to 3 years in the making, and the music I'm getting ready to do has been my whole life. Yeah. But at certain points, like at one point I'm anarchy, I got the Mohawk. All my music came out sounding really just anti-political and stuff, and I never really did anything with it, and I know why now, because I used to have visions in my head of me playing stuff musically. I was like, there's no way I can play that. And I learned I was doing a trick, because I did it one day from this realm. I went, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give myself confidence in the past, which is the now and blah, blah, and however you want to look at it, how time is irrelevant kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I realized, wait a minute, when I was sending messages, and this was about a year ago, to myself in the past, that is, I was getting those messages in the past, and that's how I was getting it from what I was doing in the now. So then I did it one day, and the trippy thing happened. I was playing music, and I was like, now, from the heart space, I'm like, now fill this young Dana. But at the same time, I was like, oh, my God, I'm playing stuff I never played. And then I caught my higher self again. I was doing it in the future, sending it to me now, and me now was sending me stuff in the past. And I know that sounds trippy, but you can do that.
Exactly. And I think that's sort of why as we're moving into this fourth dimension, we're noticing time is wonky. It seems really fast, or it seems really slow, or it seems to fluctuate. Just weird
Mandela
stuff with
effect.
time.
That's why I don't. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. The Mandela effect. That's why I don't freak out about them anymore, because I believe that it's crisscrossing timelines. It's like I say, like you take one of the forks, and you hit it, a tuning fork, and when it goes completely, when it's completely in tune, it's not shaking around. Well, that's what we're all doing. We're going back in tune with the one timeline that's what's God, divinity, the creator, however you want to look at that. And these timelines are crossing over one another, and that's why I keep seeing stuff, and I'm like, nah, you can't even tell me that they just changed the logo or something here. This was completely different. But I'm not looking at it as that CERN thing tearing stuff up. It's not that. It's the timelines crossing over each other, trying to bounce back into the one. We're all trying to always bounce back into the one, and if we do that, then we're fine. But as far as like you and the projects, man, that's what I found out with that. I wasn't supposed to do the music till now, because now I'm completely within the spiritual realm, and it's took on a whole, life of its own, So, yeah, your stuff, man, if it takes you a few months, a couple years, you'll feel it when it's ready to put it there.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Yeah, if they stop sending me stuff, I'll stop adding to it. But I don't know, it might work out to be a whole series. Actually, it was going to be like a quick vlog, 5 or 10 minute video, and I'm like, man, this is going to be even longer, because I had a lot of subscribers say, it'd be nice if you put out a short video every now and then. They're all like 1 hour or 3 hours long. So I was going to do these short vlogs, and now this is working out to probably be, I don't know, at least 30 minutes or an hour probably when I'm all done with it. We'll see. I'm going to deliver it the way I get it, so I'm not going to worry about it, but you know what I mean.
Sometimes that's the best way. It's like Bob Ross with the no accidents. I've learned when I do art now, I'm an eraser guy. I'm not like a lot of other people. I don't have the skills. But the thing is what I learned is when I go back a couple different times and stuff, I end up coming up with what I want or something that's really cool. So it's like the happy accidents thing, So I look at that because that's just the way I'm geared. I'm so like ADHD almost. So I'll start something, stop something, start something, stop something. But when I get it done, it's like, oh, I just had to have a few accidents in between to get where I had to go, or add some things, take away, add. So.
Yeah. That's what I always say about math. I'm like, I don't like math as much. I mean, I'm all right with math, but there's no happy accidents in math. You got to go back over it and figure out where you messed up, you know.
Yeah, it's a good thing and a bad thing. Well, the good thing with math is it's always going to be constant. But, you know, once you go past certain math, you know, it's like, man, I don't even want to mess with this. I told my daughter, I'm real good with math. Well, she brought home, you know, it was a combination between geometry and algebra. Well, I hadn't got that far in math. And I looked at her and I went, nope, that's that Chinese arithmetic they're talking about. You know?
Thank God for YouTube, right?
Huh?
I said, thank God for YouTube. I've had to go back on there. I'm like, I learned this. I forgot. I'm going to have to go watch a video and relearn it again real fast. And
YouTube's great. You can learn anything here, man. Even my music. I learned to play real good through a certain way, but I never learned all my scale patterns and stuff. So I found a couple guys sneaking around here on YouTube going, yeah, okay, I'm going to get this stuff right because after 30 years of playing, I should know these things. But that's the great thing, you know. Everything's on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was growing up, I used to have to wait for a new issue of Guitar Magazine to come out, and then you've got to learn whatever song they put in it. But now you can just search whatever you want, and it's awesome, man.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody today, and I said, I don't know. I said, I had one time, it took Amazon 5 days to send me something. It's supposed to be 2 days. And I got upset for a second, and then I started laughing at myself, and I said, you do remember, Dana, everything was 6 to 8 weeks in the mail once upon a time.
Right.
You know, using a dial phone and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we've grown so much in just even 30 years, you think, with the computers and everything. And, oh, wow, it's
Lincoln
amazing.
Logs to computers. Well,
Yeah.
actually, it's not computers. These are like almost tricorders, like on Star Trek, except for they don't heal your body and stuff. But I mean, it's pretty much a handheld computer.
Yep, they can track your heart rate and stuff now. Yeah, we're not far from that, I don't think, man. But the fact that we can, you know, talk on the phone like the Jetsons while we're driving down the road, I mean, we've sort of we don't have the flying cars, but you know, some of the other stuff we've already sort of surpassed it or passed it up, you know.
Yeah, there's stuff happening now that I wouldn't have imagined as a kid. You know, I thought a little TV that you carried around would be cool, and then they put out that Sony thing, and I was like, ooh, the future. Oh, no, I didn't even have any idea what the future was.
Nope, couldn't even have imagined it, man. We've really grown exponentially, and if you think about like how much faster my phone is than even a computer I had 5 years ago, you know, they're shrinking and getting faster, you know.
Yeah, they say the processing power is more than what they had in the moon thing or whatever. I don't know. But I do know one thing. We had a Atari 2600, and we were happy to have little stick things, you know, and blocks and stuff moving around.
Oh, yeah, man, it was awesome. I used to play Combat and Pac-Man. I love those games. I grew up on those games.
Yeah, I said.
I'm thinking about...
They put those out, didn't they?
Yeah, actually, now you can buy this. It looks like just the little joystick, and it's got like all the games on the joystick. You just plug it right into your TV. I haven't gotten one, but it does look fun. It'd be fun to play Frogger and some of those games I used to play.
They got a joystick. It was 3 years ago. I was staying at somebody's house, and they got a little box that looks like a mini Atari box, but they were all stuck in that. And I thought that was great. I was like, wow, we used to have like milk crates full of games or something, you know?
Yeah. And you think of Pong back in the day when it was just the little two rectangles and hitting the square ball around, right?
Yeah, he'd be there half the day hitting a square ball with a square line. Or the handheld football game that was all lines.
I love that thing,
everybody
man.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we take like long car trips, we'd drive my mom nuts playing that thing.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, in fact, they didn't have volume controls on them at first, so my dad would take like a piece of tape and put it over that speaker to try to knock the volume down a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea because those things were loud. Everything now has volume on it. You didn't have that option then.
But that's where I got it. My dad was here. Yeah.
Huh?
Well, that's awesome, Dana. I'm glad you called in, man. I've seen you around a bunch.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you on here too long. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get used to this talking over this thing back and forth. I keep like over talking, not meaning to.
Oh, it's not your fault. Just so everybody knows, there is like a 2-second delay or something. So it's not Dana's fault.
Yeah.
I'm already talking, or he's already talking by the time I talk. So it sounds like he's talking over me, but in essence, they're hearing it in the right order on this side, but you're not. So it seems like you're talking over me, but.
if your phone's just sitting there, like if you're talking on your phone, you got your computer on the background, you'll get that thing too. That's why I tried sticking in my headphones, because I know when we used to call certain places like that when I was younger, they'd have that weird thing happen.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways,
this is
y'all
especially,
have,
that's like 15 seconds late or something on this one. It's way, way worse than like the radio or something.
Yeah, that's what I'll just have to remember. I have to remember. Center your energy, talk, then wait. Kind of like a CV. Yeah, that's what I have to think of, like a CV. All right.
We're going to start saying over.
Finally talking.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you too, Dana. Over.
Yeah. I'll just say over. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, finally nice talking to you. Everybody, much love, and have a wonderful evening, weekend, and all that good stuff.
You too, buddy. Thanks for calling in. Lots of love to you.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. Awesome. Dana, first-time caller, long-time watcher. I've seen his name on there plenty of times in the comments and everything, so it's awesome to finally get to speak with him. Let's see. All right, you guys, we will be back tomorrow night. Eileen and I, we're going to be here with Carrie and Jody, who are in Eugene, Oregon, dealing with this strange low vibration. It's hard to know what it is. It almost seems like the opposite of what we want to create. We want to be these antennas for these high vibe energies for the earth, to bring in this high vibe energy, but it seems like there might be something going on that is contrary to that in Eugene. And I wouldn't doubt if it is an artificial low vibration creation type something. I'm kind of talking in circles here, but you get what I'm saying here. If it's on purpose, I'm sure it's not the only location. So we're going to blast it with light tomorrow in our Power of 8 at 8 with Eileen, with special guest Carrie. He's been on a few times. I met him in Sedona at the Grand Canyon. So you guys will probably remember him if you've been watching for any amount of time. And he will be joined with Jody. So we're going to dig into this tomorrow. And Truth Stream Media actually did a video on this. I will put the link in. Let me see if I got it here. I can just drop it in for you guys really fast so you will be more versed tomorrow night. 1 second here. I want to make sure it's in the chat stream. Okay, here it is. It is called The Still Unsolved Mystery of the Eugene Signal. It's on Truth Stream Media. If you're not subscribed, you might want to get subscribed. It's a great channel. I always enjoy. 500,000 subscribers, so you probably are already subscribed. Let me see. Okay, that is... Did I do that right? I'm going to do it again just in case I messed it up. Okay, no, it looks right. So if you guys want to check the Truth Stream Media video out, just check it out. You've probably already seen it before if you watch that channel. But we're going to be discussing what they talk about in that video with two people that are actually on location there. So we're going to blast them with light. We'll be good to go. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Lots of love and light to each and every one of you. Have a good night.
If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.